it gets me fired up and gets me, keeps me going.
Yeah, it's a pinch me moment, right? You mentioned the intro to the podcast, and that's kind of one of those times where it's the same thing for me, where it's kind of like crap, like that's us, right? Like we didn't just pull that out. That's not AI generated. That's stuff we've done, and really to pat ourselves on the back even more. In the first 2 years of doing this, right? We're rounding into 2 years of truly being in the unofficial visit around Thanksgiving of this year, and to think about what we've been able to accomplish in the first 2 years is really cool when you think back at it. And it's only going to be more exciting as we continue to go places and learn from people and continue to connect with people. You mentioned Charlotte, and I think that's a really cool kind of point to make is the excitement that they return back to us, right? Not that everywhere we go that it's not always like that. People are really generous with their time and we're very appreciative. But when you have a full staff that comes together and brings an itinerary to the table and ideas to the table of how they want to showcase their program and showcase what they're doing on the developmental side and what they're excited to have building at a place like Charlotte or any of these other schools, that's what excites me to kind of see where we're heading in this space. And again, for our listeners, if you're tuning into this, I'm sure you tune into all of our stuff, but if you're new to this and you haven't gone out, that's the stuff that you definitely should be bearing down on. It's easy to go check out our Matt Hobbs video and be like, wow, that was really good. Yeah, it's really good. But there's a lot of really good people that we've been able to spend time with that don't have that brand recognition logo, but that are also really good baseball coaches that are going to educate, help you develop, whether you're a player, coach, or even just a fan wanting to learn more about the sport. All of those are going to be big factors in obviously your career development as a baseball person. So make sure you hit all those because those trips almost excite me more than anything because you can feel that radiating energy coming back from them that we put into it because obviously we're passionate about it, but they give it right back to us, which is always awesome.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not even all about the baseball content that we get from these guys. Like, of course, that's obviously the subject of every conversation. But if you listen to some of these people talk, um, and you can just tell, like, if you just enjoy leadership and coaching, like hearing the different ways all these guys talk about their program, and for me, I'm almost more passionate about leadership and coaching, as weird as that sounds, and probably kind of corny, but than I am about baseball. And like being able to stand there with Wes Johnson and when that comes out, like people will be able to like if you can't figure out why he's successful just by listening to him talk, don't even like ignore the content that he's putting out there, which like it's going to be full of gold and like just tons of nuggets like Hobbs, but like listen to the way he presents it, listen to the energy he has behind it, and like some of the leadership stuff that comes out of it and some of the like just the coaching stuff overall about like how he talks about guys, like you'll be like, oh huh, yeah, that's why Wes Johnson is Wes Johnson. And people didn't get to see this the off camera stuff that we got to see with Coach Johnson, which like then it was like within I think what 2 minutes of being in his presence, Trevor, we're like, oh, we get it. Like
Yeah.
this
Mm-hmm.
is like he just is, he's one of those people that are just like special. And like
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine if you like play for him or work on his staff, like he's just one of those guys where it's like you better be round the clock, high energy. You're not allowed to have
Mm-hmm.
a bad day in that building
Yep.
because like he just and it seems like he makes it hard to have a bad day in the building. And even just seeing him kind of talk to the way he was talking to his players and the way he was interacting with his players, you were like, oh man, like no wonder that he's been so successful right away. And like kind of Georgia's back on the map. And we're talking about a top 10 team again, like year in and year out since he got there. And that's how a lot of these guys are, like just talking to him and
Mm-hmm.
like hearing the leadership stuff and the coaching stuff from these guys is like almost just as good as the nuggets you might get that can help you become a better baseball player or a better baseball coach. Like it's just like, yeah, the mechanical stuff, the in the weeds stuff, like that's great. And you and I love that just as much. But like also just like listen to how they kind of talk about going about it and listen to how much like detail they have and how much passion they have for it. And that's what makes it so fun is you go to these places and every place we've been, these guys are so passionate about their players, their programs, their universities, their campuses. Like that's what makes it exciting for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean to hit on your West point and just in detail again, I'm in the process of editing the video, and from an educational standpoint, your first question was, let's talk about pitching philosophy. And his first answer was like, wow, this is, from my end, I was like, this is unbelievable, because he goes, well, we have 22 to 24 pitchers that are going to be on our team in the fall, and we're going to have 22 to 24 different pitching philosophies. And it's like, oh, yep, that was pretty good in the first 36 seconds that we recorded this video. And you could end it there and it would be a really good clip. But the gravitational pull of his personality was evident, right? Like, you could see how his guys interact with him. You can see how he interacts with just people, everybody, right? How he reacted with us. Like, he was fired up to see us, and what are we to
Never
him?
met us.
Right. Yeah, never met us. And you can, again, like you said, that success leaves clues, as coaches tend to say. And on the leadership side of things, I think that's a really exciting point of what we want to build, right? I think the conversations that we have off air, a lot of times it's really refreshing when a coach hits you with like you guys get it, right? You understand. And more times those conversations are built around culture and leadership. As I always like to say to myself as I sit down and think about what we're building, right? We want to build leadership education and life lessons through baseball content, right? These guys are some of the best leaders in their industry and in their space. They just happen to have a passion for baseball more than tech or more than real estate or any of the other industries that these people would probably be successful in as well. And as we continue to roll out our content, that's what our conversations with these coaches have. So if you have, qualms about checking out our interview with Robert Woodard because you're not really interested in American baseball, right? At that point in time in that conference, or you're not really interested in who their starting shortstop is. We've never had a conversation with, like, we'll ask about certain players and how they've developed those guys. But our conversations are so evergreen, and Dan does as good of a job as any in the industry of asking the right questions that aren't, what is going to be your starting nine on opening day? We don't care about that conversation. We would be willing to have those conversations. But what makes our product in these conversations special to see on the back end post-production is that these conversations are beneficial for people that just want to learn about life, that just want to learn from successful leaders, want to learn how to take that into their own industry, want to translate those messages to their sons, daughters, whoever it is that they're surrounding themselves with. And I think that's what makes these conversations really special, is being to have those deeper baseball conversations, that it isn't just simply, what is the swing and how do you teach it? What are the mechanics and how do you teach it? It's, what does 9 across the chest mean to you? What does your culture mean to you? And all those things that come up.
And it's also fun learning where they've learned from and where they've come from, which I don't always ask on camera, just because some of those conversations, I don't know how interesting they'd be. I guess I could, but a lot of times, like, learning about that off camera, and then that helps me kind of build the interview out as we hit record. But yeah, before we move on, just in case he's listening, I don't want to. We're praising all these guys, and, like, Sabes, you're still my guy. Number one in my heart. Don't worry about it. So, but, like, he's a perfect example of, like, everything you're talking about is, like, getting on campus at West Virginia and talking to Steve Sabins, and, like at 38 years old, how impactful he can be as a leader and what he's built. And I think that's also a credit to Randy Mazie, who he worked under for a really long time, and how good of a job he did building that program, and Saban's, on his hip doing it now that he's taken over. So, like, it's just fun to kind of see it. And yeah, it's, I find it fascinating. College sports programs are organizations, right? Like,
Yep.
they're businesses, they're an organization. Especially when you talk about, schools like Penn State and Georgia and West Virginia and stuff like that, and even Charlotte, right? Like, these are organizations. Like, they own their own companies. They have massive staffs. The players are all employees. Like, the fans are the consumer. And I think it's so fun to learn how people build those out, and the people at the top, especially, the impactful people within those organizations, because, it's a business. It's like, it's kind of like if, we went to Google and did the same stuff that we do with college baseball programs. It's just their product is something more enjoyable, I think, than Google, right? So, like, it's just fun to see how each one of them puts their unique spin on it.
100%. And you hit on him, so I gotta throw some praise his way as there. If anybody from the West Virginia program is listening to this, tuning in. Obviously, if Coach Saban's, you are as well. The first thing that I sat down in the car after that day and said to Dan is, I know that dude's a good father, a good friend, a good person to work for, and it had nothing to do with his baseball acumen. And if that doesn't kind of shine the light on the program that they're building there and the type of person that we believe he is, the impression he made on us. And I think you and I know, as people who have been on the industry, that's the best compliment you can give when you interact with these people, because again, it ain't rockets, like it is rocket science, but there's a lot of really smart people in this space. But are there really
Yeah.
a lot of really good people that also have that type of success? A lot of the ones let's just put it this way, all of the ones we have interacted with are those type of people. I'm not singling out anyone, but in the space, in a competitive landscape, you don't always get that type of person that you walk away going from, I know that dude treats his family right, I know he treats his friends right, I know he treats his players right, and all of those boxes were checked leaving there. And I think it's really cool to get to know these people on a little bit more personal level, because you do get to walk away and say those things about the impression you left on them and the leadership lessons you can take them of being a better, on our end, of being better, smarter business people as we continue to map things out, being better husbands, obviously, at this point in time, and taking those lessons that we learn home and being able to take them into our everyday life. So, again, ton of cool content planned. If you're not subscribed at this point, if you're still listening and you're intrigued by what we're doing, make sure you smash that subscribe button. Throw a like on this video. Throw a like on every video that you watch. Throw a comment. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know the things that stood out to you. We're really excited about what we're continuing to build and what we have planned through the fall time frame, and then obviously being able to carry that content into the spring. You're not going to want to miss it.